Rise and shine on Australia's Vision Christian Radio.
On the line, we have Associate Professor Steve Beaumont from Christian Heritage College. He's the Dean of Social Sciences and Business. The big title there, Steve. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, look, I'm doing great. Love this time of year. Thanks, Fel.
That's so good.
And look, to tell you, Robbo, I actually work with Steve up at CHC, so I know him very well, and he never gets that title. So that's why I used it in its fullness.
You've done well. You've got me riled up already.
But I know that you've got a bunch of very special guys up there today. There's some reno happening in the counselling centre. Can you tell us about those guys?
Sure. So a number of years ago, I got involved with some other Christian folks, and we basically put together a second chance program, which internationally they're popular but not well understood. And essentially, they are any intervention that's geared at giving ex-offenders a chance to find full-time permanent employment, which is a bit of a unicorn statistically for that population. There's lots of research done, internationally around the very low rates of permanent employment. So there are lots of programs that would provide a start, training and other things, but to actually land a full-time real job from day one is a bit of a unicorn. So we the people that were involved at the time thought, let's try and solve a difficult problem rather than just be one of the other several 100,000 Australian charities that exist, which all do great work. But let's find our one thing.
That's great. And I think that's really critical, isn't it? Because obviously we're talking about homelessness today. Having a job is pretty key in terms of having regular employment, being able to pay rent or whatever. And so this is really meeting a huge need for these guys. And I guess you're right, Steve. I mean, it can be, obviously, if you're an employer and you're looking at a CV and you're like, oh, there's a bit of a gap here. What's been going on? Oh, we've been in prison. Sure. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, you push him to the side. So that's a really good thing that you're doing, I guess, just providing that lifeline. Yeah,
look, it's a big impediment for guys. Now, and I don't like to, overgeneralise or stereotype, but the statistics would say that the percentage of ex-offenders that have not been in for white-collar sentences, in other words, low levels of crime, driving, thefts, small offences, they actually struggle the most in trying to find work. And one of the reasons is that for many of those persons, they weren't working before they went to prison. So there's a bit of a double whammy. So there's often for many, again, not for all, but there is a strong majority of long-term unemployment. And, of course, housing security works alongside of that, as does mental health issues, addiction and others. So there's this cluster of challenges.
Wow.
And so to at least give them an opportunity to land in a job that's real, as in, you get award wages from day one. Okay, you start from the bottom. We realise that you may not have a lot of work skills, but if you want to increase your chances of getting housing, getting rental, getting approved for rental properties or whatever else, then a job is what you need.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so good.
What sort of work do you get the guys to do, Steve?
Okay, so we are a social enterprise, so we have all our work is commercial. Even today, helping out at CHC in the counselling centre, that's a proper contracted job, and hourly rates are paid. So most of it is in fencing and landscaping because the level of skills that's required is fairly modest and it doesn't take a lot of training. And so those jobs give us a chance where they're not getting, they're not too much technical skill to it. So we've got opportunity to do the wraparound support, the mentoring, the coffee chats, the lunchbox chat. So a big part of what we do is getting them ready for their next job. Even though they have a job, we aim for 6 months for them to be very capable. So they have then got a choice. At the moment, most of them don't have a choice. It's we give them a job or they don't have a job. But we want them to have choice. In 6 months, they could say, hey, I really love landscaping. I want to do this for the rest of my life. Or no, I want to be a truck driver, or I want to get into another area. They've then got some work history, and, hopefully they've learnt how the world of work is, and they can leverage that for their next. But saying that, there are two guys here this morning. One of the guys here has been in the program for 18 months and works full time for us, and we can't get rid of him. He's good of a worker.
Yeah.
So he's gone from being very, I guess, very low confidence levels around work and no prior work history, to having 18 months, and he rarely has a day off sick.
That's awesome.
So, not everybody has that success, but we do have enough really good stories that keep us motivated to work on the change.
That's wonderful. So good to hear what you're doing, Steve. It really is very practical, and for those guys, I can just imagine the impact that has for them, as you say, confidence and just a real hope for the future is terrific. So thanks so much for sharing a bit of what you're doing today. And it's encouraging to know that, as you said, you're one of lots of different people that are trying to have intervention in different ways. But great to know what you're up to.
Not a problem. Great talking to you guys.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.